But it also means that you guys face a complication. Cartel control map. Now this is from 2015. You guys remember El Chapo? He was kind of badass in a terrifying way. El Chapo was not your normal kingpin. This is not The Sopranos. He didn't run a mob boss operation. He kind of ran a Korean-style conglomerate. He would bring in all of his regional commanders a couple of times a year, and they would compare notes. And he would lay down a few basic laws. You know, don't engage in petty crime, don't steal widowers' pension checks, don't mug people. We are drug smugglers. Focus on our core competency. And if you want to branch out, you have to clear it with me first. So people would come in and say, well, what about methamphetamines? He's like, well, what about methamphetamines? It's like, well, you know, we can get this from this and this from this, and we can run along the same routes to the same distributors in the United States. Approved. What about cocaine? It's like, we can't grow cocaine. Oh, but with a grant from USAID, we can do hybridization. We can probably grow some in Sinaloa. Approved. That's how he ran the place. So in 2016, he became our wanted #1, and we got him. And then he got away, and then we got him again, and now he's in prison forever. Removing that personality, the manager, the guy who saw drug smuggling as a business and not as warfare, changed the map. And here's where we are now. The Sinaloa was the orange. The blue is Jalisco New Generation. They used to be the enforcers for Sinaloa, and after El Chapo fell, they went into business for themselves. They see the drug business as a war. They see intimidation and mass murder as an end and not just as a means to one. Now, this would be bad for any number of reasons. You guys hear about the avocado ban that's in the country right now? That's Sinaloa, I'm sorry, that's Jalisco New Generation. They've expanded into parallel industries, agriculture, transport, tourism, local government, and they are the single biggest organized crime group in the world right now. But their presence north of the border is almost non-existent. But here are the plazas. You'll notice that they are now all split authority. Jalisco New Generation is challenging each pre-existing crime structure to get control of the plazas. American strategic policy on the drug war has kind of an echo of American strategic policy on Afghanistan. When we were in Afghanistan, if we saw two jihadist groups going at it, green on green action, we'd let them go. Not a problem for us. That's kind of how we've thought of the cartel wars. But if Jalisco New Generation gets control of a plaza, today Sinaloa, El Chapo's group, is the single largest crime group in the United States. Single largest. If Jalisco New Generation brings the Mexican drug war north of the border, we have a very different problem. And it's not a problem that law enforcement on this side of the border can solve. So whether you're looking at this from a demographic point of view, a drug point of view, a civil authority point of view, a strategic point of view, this is your next war. We haven't thought about how to fight it yet. The yellow is arid, the orange is desert, all this hash is verticality, roughly 1 mile above sea level. You know what I see when I look at that? Empty spaces, rugged terrain, dry terrain, an unsecurable border. This is Afghanistan. The same tool set that we use there, we're probably going to have to use in northern Mexico. Okay, let's close out with some thoughts we can all agree on. Let's talk about politics. I think it's important to understand the field. So this is a simple 2x2 matrix that everyone falls on. So if you're over on this hard left side, you're an economic liberal, you believe that the government should increase the tax take to achieve some sort of goal, probably redistribution minded. If you're on the far right side, you're an economic conservative and you want the government out of your wallet. If you're at the top, you're a social liberal and you want the government out of your personal life. But if you're at the bottom, you're a social conservative and you think the government has a responsibility to regulate and preserve a certain degree of social morality. And you can put yourself in a corner and kind of combine these two. So if you are a social liberal and an economic liberal, the top left corner, you think that the government should confiscate all private property and use that money to give us all government-issued gunny sacks so that we can sing Kumbaya and all look the same. If you are a social conservative and economic conservative, you think the food stamp program is immoral on its base, and in fact, you think that starvation encourages character building. Okay. In the United States, these are our traditional swing voters. Social conservatives, economic liberals. Here's the traditional Democratic Alliance as we understand it. One of the reasons that the Democrats have not done well at the ballot box for the last 30 years is that they are just all over the place. Different factions believe in different things, and any political candidate who tries to run on the issues, Hillary Clinton, Michael Dukakis, they're going to offend at least one faction by saying something that just makes them beyond consideration. And then those people don't show up to vote. But the Republican coalition is a lot tighter, and for the most part, their issues don't overlap. So they're a more reliable bloc, even though it's a smaller number of voters. Okay, everybody got that? I'm gonna put up everybody at the same time. What has happened with the Trump revolution is that one faction of the Republican coalition, whoa, totally out of control. Okay, here's you guys right in the middle. You try to kind of stay out of the economic and the social arguments when you can, don't blame you. With the Trump revolution, one specific faction, the populists, has risen to prominence. Now, this is a group that the Republicans traditionally treated as a vote bank and didn't let into the room when the decisions were being made. That obviously is not working for them anymore. And they've risen to be the single largest voting bloc in the United States today. Based on whose number you're looking at, Trump brought in somewhere between 11 and 20 million voters who had not participated in the last half dozen elections, and has turned them into a powerful voting bloc, and they will not go back. But for every person he brought in, he drove someone away. The business community clashed with Donald Trump for any number of reasons. The fiscal conservatives hate his budget policy, and the national security community had the annoying tendency of telling him when he was wrong. As a result, he melon-scooped these three factions out of the Republican Party. They're barely represented in Congress, they were gone from his administration by year 3, and they are no longer represented in the Republican Party national hierarchy at all. 2 weeks ago Friday, this boiled up into public mind when the Republican National Committee condemned and expelled Kissinger and Cheney from the party properly. And the response from Congress was thin. Only a half a dozen Republican legislators objected. It's because they've already lost. The party's already changed. Now, Trump did succeed